All right, hey, so a group that we ran into at a Father's Day festival, they were right next to our table when Jennifer and I were at this Father's Day festival back in June in Mesa, and I'm so happy that we got them out today, that they were out here, and so I want them to come up, just tell you a little bit about them. We'll do this drawing. Our vendors we'll give them about 5 minutes. Some of them will go shorter because it's what they do. But Bikers Against Child Abuse. We have a $25 gift card, $25 cash gift from them. They will do the drawing, but I want them to tell you a little bit about their program first.
And that's it. Hi, everybody. I'm Nitro. I'm public relations for our chapter as well as our Western Continental. This is my sister Brooklyn. She is our agency liaison. She is also administrator for the chapter development for our continent, which is Canada and the U.S. So she has a lot of work to do. We are a 501c3 nonprofit international organization. We have a presence in 22 countries. 47 states here in the United States. We're working on Hawaii. We want to go and help out, but they're not listening to us, But yes, we escort kids to court so that they can give their impact statement. It's really important that our children, they're our future. Look at what's happening to us. When we talk about fathers, this is such a great thing because we really need you guys in the children's life. We see that, what's happening and stuff. But our children, we deal with sexual abuse, physical abuse, mental, emotional, and psychological abuse. Because even when these kids may have not been physically or sexually abused, they may have witnessed something that is just as traumatizing. We go from 4 years old up to 18 because younger than that, they don't have the cognitive ability to understand why we're there. Now, if a case goes past, they're 18 and they want us still involved, we'll be there. But we're hoping they're going to say, you know what, man, I got this now. Because we're here to empower them, not enable them. Because what happened to them does not define them. And this is what we're trying to help them with. And if there's a threat to them, because whoever the perpetrator, the family, doesn't want them to go to court and testify and tries to come to wherever they're at, guess what they're going to see? We will camp out on their lawn 1 day, 7 days, 30 days, around the clock. It doesn't matter. My brothers and sisters in Baca, we get those Baca allergies. All of a sudden, we're sick, can't go to work, but we will be in front of that house to protect that kid. And that's something that means a whole lot. I've been going on 15 years with this organization, and I can't even tell you. I've always worked with kids from inner city and gangs. This is the best job I've ever had. My paycheck is right here in the heart. And I know that with my brothers and sisters. It is important for us to do what we can for our kids. They're our future. We need them. And a lot of people say to me, well, what's that got to do with me? Really? Because when they rob you, or do something to you because you didn't care about them back then, guess what? It has something to do with you. This is a society issue. We have to step up for our kids. My daughter's best friend's baby was beaten to death. I mean brutally beaten to death. Okay? And when we talk about getting involved, I was doing a class one time, and this girl was crying in the back, and she comes up to me. I said, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make you cry. She goes, no, you don't understand. I knew Heather. I knew Easton. I lived next door. I heard him screaming, but I thought he was colicky, and I did nothing. It doesn't mean she was bad, but we've gotten to the way in society where we just shut down and go, it's not my problem. It is. They say it takes a village to raise a child. Guess what? We're that village. And if we don't wake up, look what is happening. Our neighbors, we don't even talk to our neighbors anymore half the time. We have to wake up to this. When we take the kids in, it has to be with somebody that is their legal guardian. All right? Whether it's DES, DCS, CPS, whatever it is they have, aunts, uncles, grandparents, it doesn't matter. But we will introduce them to our chapter, which we have 4 chapters here in the state of Arizona, and we have one developing in Prescott right now. What we do is we give them, if you go to our table, you'll see some other stuff that we give them. But we give them a cut, and they get their own road name for anonymity purposes. Because if the perpetrator, the family's looking for them, they come up and say, hey, I think you have so-and-so. Oh, I have no idea. We don't care. We get road names because we're just, yeah. But, you know, the kids have it. Even if they knew the road name, we're not going to tell you. It's none of your business. This is anonymity. All right? These kids, they'll get this cut. They get a choice of a back patch on the back, just like we have our own back patches. They get this shirt, which I absolutely love. My model, Brooklyn, is going to show it. Yes. No child deserves to live in fear. No child. On the back, she'll show it around. Some of his angels have wings, others have motorcycles. We love to ride, but we ride for a reason. None of us get paid for what we do. None of us. And we are all FBI background checked. Because if you have any kind of abuse towards a child, whether you were in a DUI and the kid was in the car, or the child witnessed any kind of abuse, you know, which is many, many different factors, you're not going to be a part of our organization. And we had one guy ask, how do we know you guys are 100% on the up and up? I'm like, let me answer that one. You name me an organization, a foundation, or corporation that is. Look at what's going on with our schools and our churches and police, and there's never anything 100%. Never. But we do our best. And that's the most important thing. And if you have questions, please come on up and talk to us. We do presentations everywhere. Neighborhood block watches, you know, any other kind of organization if you want to find out more about us. We are a free service to our wounded kids, our wounded brothers and sisters. So please, there's no extra paperwork, nothing like that. But give us a call because, you know, I mean, it's our kids, guys. It's just so important that we bring them into the future the right way. And the intake process is quick as well. Thank you.
Oh. Read the number.
6222033. Oh, right over there.
Thank you. Thank you. It's right here. All right. Let's see, where's Goodwill? Goodwill, going once. Goodwill, going twice. Yeah. All of these tables are set up outside, so make sure you just stop by, pick up some information. I have a $25 Starbucks gift card after we hear from Goodwill.
Hi. Good morning, everyone. I'm Stephanie, and this is
Stephanie.
And we both are community awareness partners with Goodwill. I've been with the organization since 2014. We work with the community. We give our services at no cost to the public and to high school students, mainly around the valley. We're going around to valley high schools and sharing the importance of career and professional development, some life skills for high school students right now. And this honestly is the first time I've ever been to anything like this, so this is really great. And I really appreciate all of the speakers from yesterday and today. And we do have the $25 gift card, and I'll hand it.
Yeah, sure. We're also here to promote the My Career Advisor platform, which is free, and you can go to Google and just Google My Career Advisor, create an account, and you can use that service to create resumes, cover letters. There are so many different trainings that you can actually you can work on them via videos. So definitely take time to go through that website. Google My Career Advisor, powered by Goodwill. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Okay, let's see, 622042.
That's me. I'm just kidding.
622042? Nobody? Oh, okay. You better move with some quickness. All right, those are our first two vendors. Make sure you stop by, visit them. Hey, listen, We talked about ManCave, caring, actively engaged, vested, and encouraged. We're getting to this part of encouragement. I want you to hear these guys' stories because they touch me, and I need you to hear this because men, fathers, we have the ability to overcome anything that comes our way. Anything. And what motivates us to overcome anything is our children. That's all I'm going to say. Sleepy, come on.
I'm going up here, yeah. Woo! Look at this. I'm really nervous, so I usually have like 15 minutes to do something, and they gave me 30 today.
Pretend we're in class.
Huh?
Pretend we're in class.
Pretend I'm in class. So I got some dads down here in nurturing father classes, and I asked them to come support me. My name is Sleepy Vildosola, and I'm a father of 2 kids. My daughter is 10, and my son's 9. I'm going to be walking a little bit because I get nervous and I have to move around. I got to use hands and stuff, okay? So, and I'm also a father support specialist at the Family Involvement Center. I also facilitate nurturing father classes on Saturdays. On Saturdays, we have coffee, donuts, and dads. We've had some DCS, or not, ASU data reports and stuff like that, and it absolutely says that dads need food at these classes, so we have donuts and coffee. And then even after our dads graduate, they keep coming back because we create a support system for our dads. And that's what we don't do in our society, in the public. You know, us dads don't hang out and talk, and I'm following 2 doctors, man, and then Neil Tift. These guys have got so much amazing information, and I hear their information, and it resonates with me. So what you heard yesterday and today is data, research, a lot of smart people putting stuff together and trying to figure things out. I'm going to come with the lived experience side of this. If I cry, you guys look this way, and I'll look this way, all right? Yeah, I might get emotional because this stuff is raw. Don't do that, man. When Ed cries, my boss cries, man, I swear to God when he cries up on stage, like the heavens open up, you hear angels sing, you see a golden light fall down upon him, and he just leans into it and just cries. And it's beautiful. I don't cry like that. I teach nurturing fathers. We talk about showing our emotions, but I'm still working on that, so I'll get into that. And I'll relax a little bit here. And so,
You got this, brother.
thank you. I'm going to give a little experience about lack of fatherhood engagement and what that did to me. And so I will be very vulnerable and tell you things I don't like talking about. It's very personal to me. What brings me here today is, for the last couple years, I'm 57 years old. I didn't like what happened in my life. I didn't like where I wound up at. It wasn't okay to me. I see this doctor over here, and he's 30-something. Man, wow. 30-something, he's a doctor. You know, I'm 57, and I've passed opportunities. I've passed up opportunities. And there's always been something missing in my life. My dad was a heroin addict in the end. My stepdad was a monster. What I know is growing up, I didn't really have direction. My parents were high school sweethearts, married, had 2 kids, my sister and myself. My parents were deaf. I didn't hear music. I had to find music. I was crawling out of my crib at 6 because my mom couldn't hear me cry. My dad's Hispanic, my mom's white. I used to know how to do sign language in Spanish and English. When my parents divorced, that was a big deal. I didn't know about it then, but it was a big deal, man, because they were divorced like when I was like 3. My dad was an alcoholic, and he became violent with my mom, you know. I don't remember any of this, you know. And know this, I love my dad. After they were divorced, he'd come through every 2 or 3 months. He traveled all around. He liked to party a lot. And he'd come through. I remember, you know, there were times that he'd take me to this bar at 67th Avenue and McDowell. Used to be, it's not there no more. Way back in the day. And I remember he'd buy me Shirley Temples and line quarters up on the pool table while he drank, and that was my bonding with my dad. And I loved it. It was cool that I got to go in a bar at night, you know, shoot pool with all the fellas, hang out with the fellas. My mom remarried really fast. She married a real winner. I'm going to give some brief details because this is the painful part of my life I don't like to talk about. He drugged us and molested us before we were in first grade. When we talk about aces, I got them, almost all of them. I really do. This is why I haven't liked my life. Or I suspected something was wrong in my life, and I couldn't figure out why I couldn't find true north. When all was said and done and everything came out, and this abuse went on for years. He was very violent. My jaw's been broken. My arm has been broken by my stepdad. I played a lot of basketball. I'm from Maryville. I used to play at Chicken Park. Anybody play basketball at Chicken Park? Woo! Yeah, buddy. That's where they hit it, man. They play basketball in Maryville, man. I'll tell you that. Chicken Park, you want a ball? Go there. 59th Avenue and Bethany. There's a big jet airplane out front, and they have, man, the brothers go there and they ball. And I'm going to get into that right there because I had very little man interaction that meant anything to me. You know, when I was 12, my stepdad got arrested. So I used to play basketball with the cop who lived across the street from me. His name was Officer Ron Jansen. And he always see me with all these bruises. And when my jaw was wired shut, you know, he brought me shakes and stuff like that. My arm was broken. I couldn't play basketball. I played a lot of basketball. I went to Phoenix Suns basketball camps. I was a Phoenix Suns court boy. I lived and breathed basketball. My mom couldn't handle me. I was angry. I was homeless most of the time through high school. My freshman year, homeless. I had my bicycle, my BMX bike as a mongoose. We didn't do backpacks back then. We had satchels or gym bags, you know, and my basketball. I went to Maryville High School, and I ride my bike, do whatever I had to do. I was in like these special classes, you know, for guys that get in trouble in class and whatever. But I was homeless, and I would sneak places to sleep. And I found this place, I found a shed in someone's backyard, and it didn't have a side fence, so I could just creep back up my bike and get in real quick, and stash my bike, get in there, and I'd sleep in the shed. I'd go to Maryview Park, clean up before school and shit like that. Sorry, didn't mean to cuss. If I cuss, I apologize. I'm working on that. I got kicked in the rib by a big old black guy. His name was Clifton. And then I grabbed my ball and my gym bag. I was trying to get out of there because I was in his shed, and he tried to snatch my ball from me, and I held it. You know, the first thing he did was try to snatch my ball from me. He goes, "What are you doing in my shed?" I said, "Sleeping." You know, and it was cold. It was like maybe September, October kind of thing. It was a little bit chilly, you know, it wasn't comfortable when you're sleeping outside. He was really cool. He brought me inside his house. And there was another black man there. His name was Gaylord. Gaylord and Clifton, they brought me in. They're from Stockton, California. They brought me in their home. They were from Stockton, California. They were here going to DeVry. We're only going to be here for a couple years, and they said I could live with them, but I had to go to school. And
That's all right, brother. Speak from the heart.
Clifton talked to me about cognac. He would say cognac, however he said it, you know. And I learned the finer points of cognac, and I was young, mind you. Gaylord showed me how to make chicken out of a brown paper bag. I'm not lying. I'm being real on this. And he had a 64 lowrider. And I used to ride my bike to school. And there were times it was raining, and he'd bring me to school in his 64 lowrider. Man, it was super cool, man. And I played a lot of pickup basketball, Maryview Park, Chicken Park, all that stuff. And so we'd cruise in his lowrider looking for pickup games. I used to listen to Parliament, some of the Motown greats, Diana Ross. These guys, I mean, they would sit with me in the living room, and they had the friends over from Chicken Park or from DeVry. It was all black men. They didn't treat me bad. They treated me good. And we sat down, and we'd have sipping cognac. And I was 13, 14. I should have been doing that. But the one thing is it didn't hurt me. They treated me like a brother, but they were older. You see, my problem was that after my stepdad was arrested in 78, my real dad died in 79. My dad was an addict, and he went out like that. So there's tragedy all over the place in my life, and that's why, you know, I was homeless because my mom kicked me out, or I'm homeless because I left. Either or, it was just all a bad situation. I stayed with Gaylord and Clifton for a little over 2 years, until about my junior year. And we did Christmases, Thanksgivings. And that was if they stayed in Phoenix, because a lot of times they went back to Stockton to be with their families, you know. When they graduated from DeVry, we weren't family, man. We were friends, and it was like a hug, a handshake, and they said good luck. You know, they had to go back to Stockton and do their thing. That wasn't a permanent thing. But that was just some men on my path to fatherhood, and for me having an understanding, you know. And so these men mentored me. And you know, me drinking cognac and whatever is not the best thing for a boy, but you know what? I wasn't being beat up and molested, okay? I had security. I had two men that treated me as an equal and talked to me as a man, and I was 13 or 14. When I was just in my junior year of high school, and they had to go. And it was sad. And that's how, we didn't change phone numbers. I didn't have a phone. They didn't have pagers then. They had pay phones and dial phones. We didn't change no address. We didn't do that. They left. And I was back on the street. My mom, I go back and forth with my mom, you know. I could never get a job. Man, I could never get a job. I started trying to get a job when I was 15, and I had mad hustle. I had a lawnmower and a gas can. When I was real young, I'd go cut front and backyard for $5. That was big money back then. Then I started getting a knife and started trimming palm trees. That was $50, you know? That was me in the summertime making money. After Gaylord and Clifton were gone, I moved back with my mom and then left. It was never good because after my stepdad and everything he did, my mom kind of did a mother-hen thing and took my sisters like this and pushed me to the side. And I know why. She's hurt. I'm a guy. I'm a dude. And I remind her of one of her exes. You know, she didn't have a good run with men. Can you let me know my time? Is there a way I can check my time?
You got plenty.
Okay, beautiful. I want to make sure I hit some things here, man, because this fatherhood thing is super, super, super important, man. I can't even begin to tell you. Fast forward, man, and so when I was 18, I didn't graduate from high school. I got arrested my senior year for selling weed. I was trying to stay afloat. When I became an adult, I got transferred to adult court. I was on adult probation at 17 for selling weed. I violated that probation with a joint and got sent to prison for 4 years. Now, let me backtrack just a little bit. There are key points in my life where I knew I should have had a man in my life, a real man, a responsible man, a solid man, to give me life advice, because I never had that, you know? And I remember I was homeless and I was cold, and I was on the streets. And I remember sitting there, my back against a brick wall, with my bicycle, man, my basketball, my duffel bag, and I didn't like my life, man. And so I thought, man, I'm gonna join the Army. I'm gonna join the Army, man. And so I got in the recruiting office. Mind you, man, I'm 6'5" and about 160 pounds, and so they're putting rolls of quarters in my pockets to make weight. They wanted me to beef up a little bit, and so they did that, and I made the weight. Then they started talking to me about the ASVAB test. Now, I'm really smart, but I've never applied myself. I look at systems and figure stuff out and say, that's wrong, and that's wrong. Let's fix this. I have a natural talent for fixing things. I went to the recruiter's office. They wanted me, man. And when they told me I had to come back and take the ASVAB test, I didn't go. I was scared. I wanted someone to talk to. My family wouldn't talk to me because I knew they were going to take me out to, I think, North Carolina or something like that for basic training. And I wasn't prepared to leave the state because my family was here. Even though my family didn't want me, I didn't want to leave my family. It's all I had, you know? You know, when I ran around there, and I just want to say, when I was running around after I was 12 years old, I ran with older guys. I ran with criminals. I ran with hoodlums. I carried a gun. I ran with gang members. I drank. I did drugs. I stole. I stole things to survive. I shoplifted so I could eat. I've done a lot of stuff. I am not innocent in anything I've done. I know what I've done, and I've paid my price, okay? I wound up in prison. I've been to prison 5 times in 2 states. I've done 16 and a half years. And all over drugs or thefts. I've never hurt anybody, but I've done a lot of time, man. And then you have the people at the parole board start saying, well, you hurt your family. Man, you need to stop. Stop. I'm doing the time. I did the drugs. I'm the one that got put in the back of the car. My family didn't have nothing for me and did nothing to help me. I got pushed to the streets because they didn't want to nurture me. And I looked for nurturing in criminal activity. I didn't know how to be a man, so I chased after men that were dangerous because I thought that was, that's what I thought that was. I thought, was being a man. That was wrong. I was given the wrong impression at a very early age, and this is why I went back to prison 5 times. 16 and a half years of my life is gone, and in 2 states. I went to Idaho to get away from it. I got in a shootout here in Phoenix on 19th Avenue in Glendale. I had a shootout. I left Arizona because it was hot. I was hot. I wasn't on the news, but the situation was on the news, and they didn't know it was me, so I got the heck out of Dodge and did what I had to do. I wound up in Idaho, and then what I know is no matter where you are, no matter where you go, there you are, okay? And you know what? I landed in my ex sent me a plane ticket. I landed in Idaho, and within a day, and I landed in Idaho at night. Within a day, I was back in slinging, running with people I shouldn't be running with, and this girl that paid for my plane ticket, she wanted me to be a dad to her stepson. That was a wreck. So after Idaho, I had to get to the parole board. I had to make parole because what happened in Idaho is they filed the bitch on me. 3 strikes are out. It's actually called the persistent violator enhancement. My first plea agreement was 20 to life. You see, they will retire you to have too many felonies. And it is a felony to have too many felonies. It's a brand new charge. If you get 3 felonies, you get 3 strikes, you're out. But if you got a 4th, they call it a persistent violator enhancement, which is another felony, and it starts at 20 years. Starts. The man in front of me got sentenced. He got lucky and got 17. Man, I thank God that I got 7. Who in the hell thanks God for 7 years in prison? But I had to look at the positive side of that. It wasn't 20. You know, I had a chance to come back to Arizona, and I did that. I took an interstate compact after I served my time, came back here. Prison made me more sophisticated. I was still doing drugs, still womanizing, stealing, doing whatever, and I'm a tattoo artist on top of that. Everyone wants to hang out with me. Yeah, let's get you high. You know, every tattoo shop I ever worked at, you had the same element. You know, there is, except in my shop, I had respect in my shop. You can look at the lady back there. She's one of mine. She's one of mine, yeah. I met Lindsay Shine when she came to my tattoo shop, and I was fighting for custody for my daughter. And I'll talk about Lindsay Shine here in a minute. She's pretty amazing. 16 and a half years in prison, I'm coming back here, and I tried to rekindle with my mom, but it wasn't right. It was just not right. And I had this big black beard, almost like King Tut. You know what I mean, with the shaved head and stuff. And she said, look like a paintbrush. She didn't like it. But my brother-in-law, Willie, he wore his pants tight. You know, he was a mechanic. She just loved him, but me, I'm a hoodlum. She wanted nothing to do with me. And so we didn't bond. I didn't try. I just do what I normally do. I took off. Started doing my own thing. I opened a shop, Ink or Die, in Mesa, with my ex-wife. We divorced. I gave her a shop. Nothing changed. Nothing ever changed until it was 2011. I was getting high, using meth and other things, and I had a one-night stand, and she got pregnant. I've always wanted to be a dad, and I toyed with the idea before the baby was born. It was all good. But when my daughter was born, shit. Sorry. I know. When my daughter was born, I was devastated. And I'm going to tell you why. And I heard some oxytocin and stuff here yesterday, and I agree with you. Because when I walked into that hospital room and I saw the bassinet, I made a left turn to the bathroom, and I cried. I cried like I've never been cried. I've cried before. Never. Man, this was like a religious experience crying that was deep. And I was scared to face my daughter, scared to death. And I can tell you why. I didn't know how to be a man. Not a man that I could be a father to a girl for. I don't know how to be a father or a man. I couldn't even take care of myself. I could hit any yard. I could hit any street in Phoenix. I could play basketball. I could do all this inconsequential stuff, but I couldn't be a dad. And then, when I faced my daughter, she was not touched by this world. And that was my litmus test of who I was. And I realized I hated myself. I freaking hated myself. And that was honest. That was the most honest I've ever been with myself. After my daughter was born, man, I remember holding her, and she was so tiny. Her name's Ava Jade, and man, that was conviction. I was a piece of crap. I had nothing to give to my society. I had nothing to give to a family. I had no substance whatsoever. And just the pure honesty of that in my own head was devastating. Man, I had to make my way from East Valley, and I had to get to the Salvation Army. The adult rehabilitation program, the 6-month program, that's tough. That program ain't no joke, man. I was knocking on that door, and they opened the door and let me in. I didn't have any underwear on, and my shorts had holes. My socks had holes. My tennis shoes were beat up, and I was in a beat-up T-shirt, man, and a duffel bag, once again. And they asked me, why would we let you in? I said, you don't have a choice. I have a daughter, man. You don't have a choice, and they let me in. They took everything. I had to grow my hair and shave my beard. Weird. I had to start going to church. I hung out with men that were broken like me. They were looking for something, but they were there voluntarily. And a lot of them were dads. You know, I found God. I turned my life over to Jesus. And I'm giving you my experience, strength, and hope because I don't knock any religion here. Please believe me, I don't. But I needed to find God in my life. I needed to find God's definition of His order. When I say this, I believe in God's order. I believe in the natural order of things. I do. I want to make sure I get it right. I don't want to miss anything, man, because there's a lot of things here, you know. So we live in a society that doesn't put a lot of value in fatherhood. Dads, most of the time, if mom and dad aren't together, and that's pretty common nowadays, divorce or premarital sex, laying with somebody and having babies without a father. We have some epidemics going on, man. It's not COVID. We have father absenteeism that's so high. 1 out of 4 children don't have dads. You ever heard of father hunger? Anybody heard of father hunger? It is a diagnosis. It's real. I read that, and I believed it because it resonated with me. Father hunger. And when I read about it was that you'll see it in especially with boys. Okay? When a father leaves, something happens with that child, that boy. And so, before I get into why I think we have a big problem, why I have a big problem, I just want to come out real quick. I love our moms. I have a strong belief in that men work with men, women work with women. I had some female counselors tell me, oh yeah, women could just lead men too. No, you can't. I saw yesterday it said plain and simple, moms are not dads and dads are not moms. It does not work that way. It's not natural. It's not natural. I will tell you that when I have my class with my dads, sometimes I can't get them to shut up because they start talking, but they're talking about stuff they have to talk about because they haven't been talking about it. They have not been talking about it, and it's building up inside them, and they're looking for solutions. I look at these dads when I'm teaching, and last year it was over 90 dads that I was able to talk to, you know, and I see the same looks in their eyes. I hear the same stories. We need to stop calling dads sperm donors. We got to stop saying that I don't need a man, because we know where that comes from. We know that comes from a place of hurt. But it's unconscionable that it's used as a badge of honor now, and these conversations are being held in front of our children. Now, boys and girls hear, I don't need a man. What do you think it does to them? Will they ever trust a man? What about boys? Don't you want to be a man now because I don't need a man? What messages are we sending our children? And you know what? This I don't need a man is a badge of honor now, and you know what? Every child has heard it. These conversations we have, kids hear, I know boys watch me. I know boys watch my every move. This is why I model certain behavior. I know. The path to fatherhood is paved with injustice, legal landmines, heartbreak, systemic father bias, and family court was built on a foundation of pain, resentment, anger, and hate. Nothing, and I mean nothing, good comes out of family court because it usually means we're stripping a child of a parent. And I'm going to say this. We have antiquated laws in family court. Now, I understand in 1930, 40, 50, 60, moms were housewives. Moms stayed home. Moms raised the kids while dads worked. That was the norm back then, but we're in 2022 now. And still these laws remove dads. And you know what? I know this big old giant room right here, everybody in this room knows that dads need to be in their kids' lives. Boys and girls. Because when we don't have fatherhood engagement, it affects them adversely. We see the behaviors in the children today. And come on now. What do we got going on out here? I ran the streets. I don't even recognize the streets no more. I don't. Man, I drive by a bus stop that's been turned into a tent, and you know this, I see 13, 14, and 15-year-olds out there looking like zombies, running around one person, trying to get something. And you know what they're trying to get? I could look at a group of kids in school. 8 out of 10 times, I'll pick who doesn't have a dad. For real. And you men, if you really think about it, the men that don't have fathers, who didn't grow up with fathers, you start looking at children, and you start seeing something different. You see something different without fatherhood engagement. Laws are very unfair to non-custodial parents. Families are torn apart. There is no love in family court. Court is rigged, and so is child support. And I've been on both sides of this equation, okay? I'm not talking like a dad that had to pay child support. I'm talking as a dad that was supposed to receive child support. I have full custody of my daughter, 100%. Mom's been struggling for the last 4 or 5 years. And I'm not going to throw her dirt out there because we don't do that. Okay? She has struggled. Her struggle's been real. And I had to be the gatekeeper. Sometimes the hardest thing I can tell my daughter is that your mom can't be here right now. I'm not going to tell her why. She already knows. Come on. My daughter ain't stupid. You know, my daughter attended lots of NA meetings with me. I was really big in Narcotics Anonymous, especially raising money and promoting Narcotics Anonymous and getting out there. So my daughter was always involved with that with me, and so my daughter knows about addiction, unfortunately. But some of the stuff that she knows about addiction is very healthy, and she knows that drugs are bad. And we have to have these conversations with our kids, unfortunately, because it's out there. I just read an article, San Francisco Park, a child ate a fentanyl pill on the ground in San Francisco, on the news. I believe that family court needs to be revamped. I think that in family court we start making pathways for both parents. Both parents. You see, I'm not, when I advocate for fathers, when I advocate for father bias, I don't want to remove moms out of the equation because I know for a fact my daughter needs her mother, okay? I know this, but I need a healthy mom. I do. And it was Marion that told me, moms and dads imprint the brain. of a child in their development. So if you take dad away, you start seeing the effects. You see the effects throughout the years. I'm living proof of that. And I'm not angry. I cry sometimes. But this fatherhood engagement has been healing me. When I talk to my dads, I get more healed. Because I talk to dads that are going through what I did. And I will tell you, family court, I'll face any life sentence, but family court, that was some dark, soul-crushing, twisted, biased. There was nothing fair about it. Not a damn thing fair about it. I had a judge tell me, you're not credible. Another time, another judge in my family court case, when it was brought to light that I was telling the truth and that there were many lies being spoke about me, that judge still came back and said, if I find you that you're lying, I will hang you. He wanted me to be guilty. He did not want me to be a dad. Best judge I had is after I got custody of my daughter. Mom, she was still trying, you know. This is what family court is. It creates conflict. And so I had to stay in court longer, and finally I got a female family court judge. And my lawyer said, I sold my tattoo shop to get a lawyer so I could fight for custody of my daughter because she was in a dangerous situation. Oh my God, I just lost my train of thought. I'm sorry, guys.
Sold your tattoo shop to get a lawyer.
What's that?
Sold your tattoo shop.
Sold my tattoo shop to get a lawyer. Female judge. Here we go. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I'm still nervous. The female judge told Mom, you need to start getting along with Dad. He has custody. Now, I've been a bad man all my life. My family don't talk to me because I've done some, not to people, but I lived hard. And I lived dangerous, and I was very risky and took a lot of risk-taking behaviors, and you guys know what it is. Even on my mom's deathbed, I wanted to go see her. She didn't want to see me. She wanted to die in peace. And I respected that. I went and paid my respects afterwards. And when I found out about my mom, she died of leukemia, geriatric leukemia. And she was going to go on her third round of chemo, and she said, I can't do it no more. My mom became a Christian. She found God before she passed. And she donated her body to science for leukemia research. I thought that was very honorable. That was a big deal for me to hear my mom do something like that because it was honoring what she did. She kept the fight up after she was dead to find out about leukemia and how to find a cure for it. I paid my respects with my mom. My sisters didn't want to talk to me. I talked to a lot of dads going through family court, and I talked to a lot of professionals. What I see is I see a lot of organizations. They got dad programs. I think we all need to start talking. We need to talk together. Because I'm going to tell you right now, we need to take some lessons from our moms. They have armies walking for breast cancer awareness. Armies. When women get together, they band together and they start, what's that, preeclampsia? You women know what I'm talking about with pregnancy, is that right, toxemia? Yes. They have walks for that. I know this because one of my sisters had it, and all the sisters ran, and they got pink and all this stuff and got preeclampsia hats on, and they're all mobbing for this walk. Why aren't we dads doing this stuff? Us dads. Why aren't we walking? You know, I've been talking to Mary, and we need to connect. We need to make fatherhood bigger. We need to make fatherhood attractive. You know what we've told our sons for way too long? Don't get her pregnant, your life will be over. Anybody been told that? My grandma said, do not ejaculate on her leg or she will get pregnant and your life is over. I had 2 children, I'm not dead. Now, my son didn't find out I was his dad until 2021. We got together really late in his life. He comes from the same place I do with his mom, unfortunately. I'm not going to disrespect her. She's facing her own battles right now. I have 50-50 right now. I get my son on the weekends. She lives in Chandler. I live in North Phoenix. And so transportation, he's in school. I want to keep him settled until whatever happens, happens. But since then, I've hit the ground running because I recognize he doesn't have a dad. And I know that's bad. Sending a little boy without a dad into the world is horrific. And we cannot do that. It also brings me around this way. We men can reach children and model behavior. I have a little boy that lives in my house. He's not my son. He's 6. His dad passed away when he was young. And I want to honor his dad here today. His name is Michael Greenwood. I've talked to Lindsay. He was begging for services, man. She was at an incredible place, Center for Hope, to have her baby. He will call her, and I asked her to talk about this. He will call her begging for help. Why aren't there programs for dads? Like Center for Hope for moms. You know, I've heard doula bros, they're not here today, but I've heard doula bros talk about there's some chemical stuff that goes on in a man when there's a baby involved. He was begging for help, man. And he did not get that help. He died. I'm not trying to be his dad. I will honor his dad every minute of the day. I hang out with him. I do things with him. He comes and sits on my lap. And I remember when me and Lindsay first became housemates, you know, in this economy, you know, we've had to make some moves to be able to afford a house for our kids. I remember the first day I was moving in, he said, "Are you going to be my dad?" But I saw the look on her face. And I saw him, and I said, "I'm going to be your friend, buddy." You know? But it's more than that now. Because it's been almost a year now with another male in the house, an alpha male, you know? I talk about real stuff with my son and him. And he's 6, but it's still man stuff we do. I take him hiking. I just took him hiking. I want to get Mikey into Cub Scouts. I'm going to do Cub Scouts. I got kicked out of Cub Scouts, forging my stepdad's signature. I want to go back into Cub Scouts with him, you know? Me and Lindsay talk about Pop Warner. In March, I looked on for right now, it's full. In March, I'm getting these boys signed up for Pop Warner. Because I know one thing, sports always did me right. Playing basketball gave me one focus. I want to say this. Not having a father in my life, and this is where I come to today. Not having a father in my life brought me right here to this point because I had to figure out why my life was so messed up, why I could not find direction. And I know right from wrong, but I never had true north. And my belief is you need to have a man in a child's life for a child to find true north, direction, a way to move forward, a pathway to adulthood. What are we teaching our children? What are we teaching our daughters? You know, when we start looking at statistics like teenage pregnancy, woo! That number is high, like 60, 65% lack of fatherhood engagement. What do you think those girls were looking for? I don't think they're looking for a boyfriend. Not that young. They were looking for their daddies. Come on. You know the security? a daughter feels with her dad. And I heard a woman talk about it yesterday, and when I heard her say daddy, her daddy would be there in a moment's notice. You're damn right. My daughter, any age, and I'm 57 years old. I fully expect to walk with a cane. Getting to her, I quit smoking. I took prostate exam. I did a colonoscopy. I did everything I had to do at 50 because I'm going to walk my daughter down the aisle. My daughter's going to go to college. I'm going to be at her graduation. My son, my son, he doesn't know me, but he gets to know me with nurturing fathers. My son asks me every Saturday morning, Dad, can I go with you to work? My son sits right next to me.
Yeah, he does.
And what I didn't know, my other father support specialist over there told me, hey, your son watches everything you do and listens to everything you do. I'm preaching nurturing fathers to these men, and he's hearing this. He's hearing what I believe in. He's hearing what I believe in about being a father. You see, he gets more out of nurturing fathers than I believe that I could have ever gave him when I was messed up, because I couldn't be a dad then. I had to get to my truth of what it is to not have a father so I don't make the same mistakes with my children, because my life was crap. And I'm not here to tell you I was a worst case scenario and I've reached all these. I'm still a dude, 100%. And you know what? I'm still a tattoo artist. I fell into this because I was hurt and angry, and I wanted to scream at people to listen to me. I'm a good dad. I'm a good person. Family courts didn't want me. How much time do I got left? Wrap it up? Okay. I want to thank you guys for being here. Listen, we got a room full of professionals here. Please, let's have conversations. Let's have dialogues. Let's open up dialogues about what we're going to do to make sure dads are engaged. Man, we can do anything. We just need to start talking and organizing and start changing some things. Let's start getting our dads back in their children's lives at all costs. They have 1,000 medications they're going to prescribe for adverse childhood behavior. When slipping into dad and doing some dad stuff, getting dialed in, doing some nurturing fathers, man, you eliminate medication. Pharmaceutical companies ain't going to like that because fathering is free. It takes nothing to mentor our boys. It takes nothing to offer security to our daughters. It is nothing to role model behavior so that our kids see it and say, okay, I can be like that, because I had hoodlums role modeling for me because I was searching. And that's what I became. Until I couldn't be that no more because my daughter was my litmus test. I want to thank you guys for listening. I'm glad I covered 30 minutes. Shoot him and tie.